guys, I'm back with another storytime video, and today's storytime video is a bit of a weird one. Anyway, before I get into any of that, I would firstly like to say a wonderful, happy Chinese New Year to all my Chinese followers. I know there's quite a few of you. Got myself a little rooster. Have an amazing New Year. I hope it's filled with love, new friendships, just so much happiness, success, and mainly health. Good health. So that's to you, my lovely friends. And now we're gonna get into the story. Okay, so this story is a little bit crazy. So the reason I'm telling this story is, you can skip this part if you just want to get on with the story. I'll leave like a number for when the story starts down below, so have a look at that if you want to just skip straight to the story. But I want to tell you guys why I'm even telling you this story, because it means a lot to me. The thing is, this situation has affected my life incredibly, actually, and even till this day I think it's affected me, and I think it's just such a huge subject. I know the title seems extreme, but everything you have read in the title is exactly the way it is written. There's no clickbait in that title at all. I wish there was, actually. I wish that was clickbait, but it's not. It's an emotional story. It's drug related, just letting anyone know, which is not in the title. If you're triggered by drugs or anything to do with drugs and near-death experiences, then this is not the story for you. Maybe you should click out, but that I'm telling you. This story happened about 5 years ago, so if I'm not here like crying and being really upset about it, it's because this is not a sob video. I'm not here to cry about this. I'm here to educate in a way, but just to bring awareness to the subject of drug use and how dangerous it can be. That's my main aim for this video. And also, my ex is completely fine. He's living, he's healthy today, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't have contact with him, but you know, I would have heard something if he'd gotten in more trouble, but I'm sure he's fine. He's grown up now. He was young, so we all make mistakes. So I'm just gonna get on with the story. And again, like, the reason I'm filming this, like I said, to bring awareness. I don't think a lot of people take drugs so seriously. What I mean by that is, I think that a lot of people will understand that drugs are bad for you. Like, we all know drugs are bad for you. We've been taught that since we were like in the womb. But I don't think many people see how seriously bad they can be, and that they can cause death. Like, you don't think about the fact that they can cause death unless something happens to you personally and you're affected by it personally, or someone you're close to is affected by it. Then it starts to click into your head. And because I've been in that position and I've experienced that, I would like to tell my story about how I was brought to awareness, how bad drugs really are. I don't know how to talk about this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and tell the story because I feel like people should know. Anyway, like I said, this story happened about 5 years ago. I was dating a guy and we were in a long distance relationship. He was living in Oxford and I was living in Belgium. So, you know, it wasn't the longest distance out there, but it still wasn't the best distance, like, you know, anyway. This is so, like, complicated to explain because there's just so many parts to it, but I have to be in detail because otherwise the story's not gonna make sense. He was going to Oxford Brookes University and I was just going to a international school in Belgium. I was 17 at the time, so I was still in school. There was a guy in my class who had a sister who went to the same university as he did. We're gonna call the guy Jack, okay? Just Jack. My ex, by the way, the guy, I mean my ex. So my ex, Jack, was going to university with a girl whose brother was in my class in Belgium. Right. So one day I'm texting him all day, and we were the type of couple who were like, you know, we texted each other every day, all day. We were like that sick couple that constantly texted each other. And this one day I was texting him and he wasn't replying to me, and that stuck out to me because when you're in a relationship with someone and you have sort of like a routine and you know how you speak to each other and you know how you text each other, there's just like a vibe, and when that vibe changes, you notice that something's up. So one day I'm texting, but I'm not getting any replies at all the whole freaking day. And then I was thinking, okay, maybe I should calm down. Like, maybe he's just out, maybe he's forgotten his phone. Like, I didn't want to jump to any conclusions. But it got to the point where it was midnight and he wasn't replying, and I was like, this is kind of strange. The last text I sent to him that evening was, "Are you alive?" ? Which till this day I'll never forget. That you should never, ever, 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 ever text anyone, "Are you alive?" when they're not replying to you, because they might not be alive. So don't fucking do that, ever. So that was my last text. I let it go. I was like, whatever, he'll reply when he replies. Like, I'm not gonna like wait here and chase him and be sad about it. He's probably just busy. A couple of hours pass and I get a message from the guy in my class whose sister goes to the same university as my ex, as Jack. as Jack. So I get a message from him on Facebook. He goes, "Hi, have you heard from Jack today?" And I was like, that's weird. What? I was instantly like confused as to why he was asking me this question. And then I said, "No, actually, I haven't. Why are you asking?" And he said, "Oh, I don't want to scare you, but my sister told me that there have been some stabbings going on near Oxford Brookes, like in Oxford where the university is. And apparently Jack's name has been going around as one of the victims." And he's like, "I don't want to scare you though, because it might just be a rumor. I am just letting you know." And I mean, obviously that freaked me out because I hadn't heard from him all day. And the fact that someone whose sister goes to the same place told me that there have been stabbings and his name's going around, like, that's so messed up. I was freaking out, guys, like, insane. So I'm starting to freak out, obviously, because, like, what the fuck has someone just told me, and I'm concerned. And after that, I actually got onto my Facebook and I start to message one of Jack's really close friends. I start to write her a message on Facebook. The thing is, I haven't met any of his friends at that time yet because it's quite a new relationship, so I haven't met any of his friends yet. I don't really know how to approach them, and that's why I didn't message any of them in the beginning to be like, "Hi, why isn't you replying?" Because I didn't know his friends, so this made it even worse. I hadn't gone out to Oxford yet to meet anyone previous to this happening. I messaged this girl, one of his friends that I can clearly see from Facebook that she's a friend, and I messaged her and I'm like, "Hi, I've just got some weird news. Jack's not replying to me all day and I just got some crazy news that there have been stabbings. Like, please tell me he's okay. Are you with him? He's not replying. I don't know what to do about it." Almost straight away, I get a message from her saying, "This is my Skype, add me on Skype, we need to talk." And I mean, you can imagine how one would feel after all that. Like, I didn't even get like, "Oh, hey, yeah, he's fine," or like, "Hey, no, he's not doing it." Like, nothing, just add me on Skype, we need to talk. And honestly, I can't even explain to you how I felt. This random girl that I don't know, that's friends with my ex, tells me to add her on Skype so we can discuss. Like, just tell me, is he okay or not? Clearly he was not okay. So I add her on Skype and we start Skyping. Straight away, I'm feeling really awkward because I'm like, I don't know this girl. This is so bizarre. What is happening? And then she tells me the whole story. Well, from what she knew. She didn't actually know what had happened to him, but all she told me was that they were all sitting at home. He had gone out with two friends to collect something, and the two friends he was with came home before him, and after that he came home and he was saying, he came in like storming into the door with blood all over him, saying, "I've been stabbed, I've been stabbed." Everyone laughed at him because they didn't believe him because apparently he was a prankster and this was a regular doing of his. Anyway, then they finally realized that there was blood all over him and they called an ambulance and he got into the ambulance, and that's all she knew. And she also was like, I don't know why she told me this, because maybe she thought he was really going to die. I don't know, because she told me that once he was in the ambulance, he looked at her and he said, "If I die, please tell my family and Olivera that I love them." And like, obviously that just made everything worse for me. Like, I would rather she had not told me that there and then, because that made me literally feel like he was dead. Like, he's gone. There's no more. That's it. No more. Like, you don't say that. I don't know. Anyway, it's not her fault. She was just repeating what she heard or what she knew, but it was just a little bit intense. After that, we finished the Skype call. That's all she knows. She was like, "If I find out anything else, I'll keep you updated." So that's all I know, and I can't do anything about it because, and before any of you start saying, "Why didn't you just take a train or like take a plane or go there and see him?" Like I was a 17-year-old girl in high school. He was 4 years older than me. He was 21, and my parents didn't really know much about him at this point. This was a new relationship. New, I'm saying like 6 months. They knew him a little, but my parents aren't the type of parents that will just accept any guy into my life. Like, even my most recent ex, who I was with for 4.5 years, my family wasn't that accepting of him. So as you can imagine, my family's not the most, well, my dad mainly, but they're just not the most accepting people of me having a boyfriend. I didn't tell my parents too much. I told them about the stabbing, obviously, because I was like scared and I needed someone to talk to. They told me to contact his family to find out what's going on and for them to keep me updated. I messaged his sisters through Facebook and I said, "Hi, I've heard what's happened. Please, please, please keep me updated. I obviously can't speak with him. I don't know what to do." And they were so sweet. His sister actually called me and she was like, "Hi, we're in the hospital with him. He's in a really critical condition, but he is stable at the moment and we're just praying to God he's gonna pull through. We'll keep you updated. Of course we will. We'll call you if anything changes." And that's all I was left with. So I was sitting there like not knowing what was going on, and that's all I had to work with. So I was freaking out, but there was nothing I can do about it. So I just had to be patient and wait. I'm just gonna tell you that he's fine, like I said. He lived through it, he got better, but now I'm gonna tell you what actually happened, because when he recovered, he obviously got his phone back, we could talk, he told me everything. He told me this. Now I don't know, I wasn't there, so I don't know how much of this is true, but to be honest, it's probably true, because I don't want to be horrible, but it's dumb as fuck. Like what he did with his friends, I'm no drug pro, or I don't know much about the drug industry or drug dealers or how you should treat drug dealers or how it works or how much things should cost or how things should taste. I don't know any about that because I don't do drugs, but all I know is that it must be a #1 rule to never, ever, ever steal from a drug dealer, no matter how mad you are about something, no matter how shitty the stuff they sold you was. I don't think in my brain it would be smart to steal from a drug dealer. I just don't think so. But apparently, Jack fucking did. So what happened was, him and his 2 friends one night got some cocaine from this drug dealer. Apparently this cocaine was the shittiest cocaine in the world, really bad quality, and was really expensive. And when they took it, it was just awful and had no effect, or I don't even know, like it was just bad. It was bad cocaine. So after that, they got angry and they were like, we're gonna have our revenge because you sold a shitty cocaine. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna call him up and we're going to order some cocaine to pick up. And after, when we're picking it up, we're going to take the drugs and we're gonna run without paying. Now, I understand he was 21, but I'm 22 now. I would never be that dumb to do that. I'm sorry. And I'm sure there are plenty of 21-year-olds out there who wouldn't do that. But then there's also a lot that would do worse, so. That was their plan. They stuck to the plan. They called up the drug dealer. They told him, I want to meet you. I want this and this and much and this much. I don't know the exact details. Obviously, I was not involved in any of this. They met up with the drug dealer. They did what they were going to do. They took the drugs and they ran. Now, when they ran, because he was with 2 friends, 2 of his friends ran this direction. And he, on his own, Jack, ran that direction on his own. So a drug dealer who is probably on his own as well, who do you think he's gonna chase after, huh? Like 2 guys or 1 guy? Like obviously he's gonna go for the 1 guy. So I don't know why he ran on his own in 1 separate direction. Like I do not understand the science of that, but for some reason in his brain, he felt like that was the right thing to do. So he ran on his own. The drug dealer ran after him. Obviously, this is England. Knives in England is a common thing. This guy had a knife on him. So Jack was running and the guy was running after him. He caught up with him. He took him by the shoulder or whatever. I don't know. He just took him. He stabbed him right here. So right up here. It was around this area because all I know is he had a massive stitch afterwards going straight down his like stomach area. So he stabbed him twice. He stabbed him once here and then he stabbed him like in the side as well. Now he was lucky because the stab was like a few centimeters away from his heart or something like that. So it didn't puncture anything vital for him to live. So he was lucky, but it could have been really bad. So that happens, and then Jack manages to get away from the guy, and he runs, and he actually manages to climb a fence. I don't know how, with 2 stab wounds. I've never been stabbed, I don't know. I'm not gonna judge that. He did it. Well done. So he jumps over this fence, and he hides in this person's backyard, and he's laying there for a while because he doesn't want to like get caught by the guy again. After that, he starts to feel really, really sleepy, he told me, and he just wanted to lay there and fall asleep, which obviously you know what that means. He probably would have died, but I think he knew that, so he forced himself to get up and jump back over the fence and get some help from anyone on the road. He goes onto the road. He only had a BlackBerry that was actually his friend's. This for me is a little weird because he said that he only had his friend's BlackBerry and he didn't know how to unlock it because it had a passcode on it. And if you were going to be using that phone for that night, first of all, you would probably ask your friend for the passcode, which fair enough, you might forget. Like I'm not the most, like, I'll forget. If someone tells me a passcode, I'll forget it like 2 seconds later. And I wouldn't think, oh, I'm gonna get stabbed later. I'm really gonna need to know it. So fair enough, he forgot. But every single phone has an emergency phone call on it. You don't need to unlock the phone to be able to make an emergency phone call. So I don't understand why he didn't just do that. I don't know. Anyway, he was like trying to reach out to people on the street. Like he was laying on the ground covered in blood, unable to use his phone. And trying to like get people to help him. So he was like, hi, can you please help me? I've been stabbed. And every single person ignored him. Now, I think that's insane. But then again, I have seen a lot of social experiment videos on YouTube where people do genuinely ignore people who look like they're fucked up and people don't want to get involved, which to me is messed up, because if someone genuinely looks like they need help, like you help them, especially if they're bleeding to death. But anyway, somehow he managed to get up and walk like a 10-minute walk or whatever it was to the apartment where everyone was staying. And that's when he walked in the door and they saw him and called an ambulance. There's so many aspects to the story that blow my mind. First of all, the fact that you would steal drugs from a drug dealer, that blows my mind that anyone would think of doing that. Secondly, the fact that he ran on his own, like maybe it was just in the spur of the moment, he didn't see that they were going that way and he ran that way. That could have been what happened. I don't know. Thirdly, the fact that no one wanted to help him on the street, that blows my mind. That's crazy to me, and that's scary and actually kind of sad. And fourthly, the fact that, I don't know, the fact that it fucking happened. I don't know. It's insane. Like, I don't understand. I'm thankful to God that he's kept him alive, and I'm sure he's learned his lesson. I know that he was very shaken about with the whole situation. I mean, anyone would be. He's a good guy. He is a good guy. The fact that we're not together doesn't mean he's not a good guy. He was just very young when we were together. I was young. Things were bad for us, and we just weren't good for each other. But he's a great guy in general, and I'm sure he's an even better guy now, and I'm sure he's learned from his mistakes. I know we all make mistakes, but what I'm trying to prove here is that don't be stupid. And also, what people don't think about a lot of the time when they do these things is how people that you love and that love you are people that love you anyway. You might not love anyone, but people would love you, and those people that love you can be so extremely affected by what happens to you and your decisions in life too. So if you think that you don't matter on this earth, and I know this is getting deep and this is not even about what's happened right now in the story, but in general, if you feel like you don't matter on this earth, please take a second and think about, first of all, your parents. If you don't have parents, I apologize, but think about anyone who you know loves you and how they would feel if you were gone or if you did something absolutely ridiculous. And do you know what blows my mind the most is that this guy, this drug dealer, do you know where he hid his knife? The police actually found the knife that he stabbed Jack with in his house under his bed. I mean, if you're gonna hide something, you should probably make a little bit more of an effort from where you hide that, because that's ridiculous. So they found it straight away. He was sent to jail, actually. I don't remember how many months, but if you don't believe me, the story is absolutely true. It's actually even on the news. I'm gonna try and find the article and link it down below just so you guys can read it and see what I'm talking about and how serious this is. It happened on Cowley Road in Oxford. That's all I really know. There were other suspects too. I think that those were his friends actually that were mentioned. But yeah, it's just messed up. So point of advice, please, 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 please think before you do anything. Think about the consequences, think about your future, and most importantly, think about the people who love you and the people around you and how this is gonna affect them, because otherwise you're being selfish, because remember, it's not always just about you. So I went through a lot of fucking stress. His family, God bless them. I don't know what they must have gone through. His mom was shaken for about, I don't even know, a long time. Anyway, guys, that is all for today. Like I said, this is not a sob story. I'm not crying because he's fine, and also this was over 5 years ago, so there's no need to cry. This is something that you learn from, and this is something that you make yourself better at, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not gonna be like, drugs are bad, don't do drugs. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying don't be an idiot and don't get involved in things that are obviously gonna get you in a bad place. That's all I'm saying. Also, share the story with your friends or anyone who you feel like might be getting involved in the wrong crowd kind of thing. And you know, maybe I don't want to make this a preachy, I just want it to be like, this is what happened and you should be careful and you should beware. So maybe share it with someone who you feel might need to see this. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, my name is Olivera. This is LIBERTAD. Welcome. Subscribe because I would love for you to be here. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. I post every single week. I will see you next week. Bye guys.